Not Nerd Podcast, episode 361. It's the lying that gets ya.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
I am so excited tonight, Nate. You know why I'm so excited?
Why?
It's because by the time people listen to this episode, the election season will be over, and we don't have to watch any more dumb ads of people going,
yes,
well, so-and-so is just bad because of this. It's like, tell me what you're good at. Don't tell me what the other person's bad at.
Yes, I know. I was going to let people know that there's only one listener that I need to encourage to remind to vote, and that would be you, because it will be too late for all you other people that,
yes.
at least in the United States, for the midterm 2022 elections. Election day is tomorrow. And
Valerie and I, we did our civic duty and sat down for a half hour last night, quickly read through all the stuff, about 2 minutes research on each candidate, put our stuff in the envelope, and this morning I dropped them off. So, hey, we're part of the process.
Yes, as did we. And I also, I know there's somebody out there that needs to be reminded that it's time to update that clock.
Oh, really?
The one for daylight savings time, that one that you haven't updated yet?
Yeah, I saw this cartoon or something. It was like your phone. Actually, I think ironically Elon Musk tweeted it.
Yeah,
but it was like your phone automatic, your VCR is like harder, and then like your microwave, it's like forget about it.
Yes. Which reminded me, the thing that reminded me was my wife was sitting on a stool by our front door. We have, for our front garage lights, we have a timer outlet. And she was sitting there with a toothpick trying to set the time on that because it is much more complicated than it needs to be.
So, Nate, you probably don't know about this, and my apologies for all of you listeners who are not seeing this, but they make these, they're really cool. They're I think they call them a smart plug.
Yes. And
this one is a wise one, and there's a couple govt ones here.
Yes.
So you probably didn't know that those exist, but that might be...
Well, these are our built-in garage lights, so they're hardwired, and then we replace the manual switch with a timer switch by the front door. So there's probably something smarter that we could even replace it with.
Well, so is it a light switch?
Yes.
Okay, well, go get a Leviton light switch like I did, and it can run, it's Wi-Fi connected, and it turns my porch light on and off every evening and every morning. It
is time to update that. That'll be my goal before we have to switch the dang clocks again.
Okay, well, you spend the $35 on the switch and I'll come help you install it.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay, let us get into some follow-up. And Twitter, man, it is... I actually saw a tweet just earlier today that Elon says Twitter use is like the highest it's ever been right now.
Sure.
And it's like even I, who spend a lot of time on Twitter, it is just a chore trying to keep up with what's going on. So last Friday, I think it was, they cut half of the Twitter staff, so from 7,500 down to 3,750, whatever it is, via some emails. Either you got an email to your work email saying, hey, come back to work Monday, or you got an email to your personal email that said, don't bother. Now,
what a terrible way to do it.
Yeah, there was a suit that was filed like immediately with the state of California about termination laws, but he is giving them all a 3-month full pay severance package, which
is like double what is required or something.
Yeah, so it's the whole thing is just crazy. But you might be thinking, oh my goodness, Twitter's cutting that much staff. Well, I don't have all the links, but everybody's cutting a ton of staff, including there's some word going around that Meta is going to do a major layoff this week. So besides the whole Elon taking over Twitter, taking it private, Twitter not being the best company financially, there's this whole thing with the economy that's kind of impacting more than just Twitter as well.
Yeah. Yep, it's not just them, but they are in the spotlight, so it's very evident.
Yes. And I was really hoping that I was going to be able to say tonight that I am now verified on Twitter because word came out that for the $8 a month Twitter Blue and a new iOS update that you would be able to get your verification. But who knows if it's true, but I saw somewhere else after looking into it, because the option was not there, that they are waiting till Wednesday, November 9th, after the election to roll that out, because there was a lot of concern about this close to election rolling out something like that and all the issues that might cause.
Well, this goes back to the quote that I always say from Syndrome from The Incredibles: if everybody's special, nobody is.
Yeah.
And so this is like people who were notable people got the blue check mark, and now all you have to have is $8, which most people can get. And so I almost think the people who moving forward have the check mark are going to be, oh, that's the sucker who paid $8. But I guess if there are other features other than the check mark, then it makes sense. So you're basically just virtue signaling and saying, hey, I've got all the features and you don't have the features because you don't have the blue check mark. So is it like to encourage people to sign up so that they're not the only one without a check mark? I don't know.
I don't know either. And I'm not sure, and it might, again, all of this changes by the moment, but with the verification, I would like it to be where they have some sort of system that actually verifies that you're a person. Now, that's complicated, but there's other sites that do it in some way of just saying. And there was another story, again, I didn't link to this one, that I saw and Elon confirmed it from his knowledge, that for the blue check mark, there was Twitter employees that were saying, well, I don't know if I can verify you, but if you send me $15,000 on the side, I might be able to pull that through for you.
Ooh, wow.
So there was many people that were paying $15,000 to get their verification check because Twitter employees want to make a little extra money. So it's a very complicated thing, but it gives us something to talk about. And some people think Twitter might go away, but something that did go away this week is your previous pick of the week, Z Library.
Yes, I was all excited to get, how shall I say, free books.
Yes.
Even though I don't really read any books, much like my game library.
Digital
I'm a collector.
hoarding. Yes.
Same as books. I collect books, but I don't really read that many. So Z Library, yes, the feds apparently raided it and shut it down, but like any good pirate type service, I'm sure there's mirrors and other locations to go to. But I think they did lose some items that were uploaded only to that library and not the other sites. So, but whatevers. I mean, easy come, easy go is what I like to say.
Yes, it was good while it lasted.
Speaking of easy come, easy go, I'm excited that the $1.9 billion Powerball is tonight, because I may have bought a few tickets.
Oh, I bought some tickets last week on Halloween and did not win the big prize, and I meant to get some. So hopefully no one wins tonight so that I can come through for the next one.
You just cursed me. No. Now if I don't win, it's because of your curse.
Well, unless it's you, because you have said that you would share it with me if you ever won the Powerball, right?
Well, like Carolyn and I were discussing this evening, I would put her on my payroll.
Yes.
So you could do something for me.
Dave Baylor Enterprises.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, anyway, easy come, easy go. My $10 is probably gone. So
yes, that's how it works. Yes, listener Wes posted something earlier about the odds, saying that it's basically zero. But hey, somebody wins it at some point.
And look at the entertainment value that I have for that.
Exactly. And also, speaking of easy come, easy go, your beloved MoviePass, some of the executives behind the debacle, are now facing criminal charges.
Oh, boy. That is not going to end well for them, I don't think. And they keep trying to revitalize it and make it happen again. It's like everyone's moved on. There's Regal Unlimited. AMC has their own thing. I'm sure there's others. It's like, it's a pyramid scheme to get money from investors and then blow it.
Yes.
So I was a recipient of some of that blown money, so I can't complain too much.
There you go. Yeah, the prosecutors are alleging that Mitch Lowe and Ted Farnsworth, that just sounds like an evil corporate villain, knew all along that MoviePass couldn't make a profit offering its $9.95 unlimited plan to watch movies in theaters, but lied to investors about it. So
yeah, it's the lying that gets you.
Yes.
Just to all you children out there listening to the show, which I'm sure are like threes of you.
Yes.
Don't lie. Just tell the truth.
Yeah.
It's easier. Like Abraham Lincoln says, I don't ever lie because that way I only have to remember half as much. I mean, it's not worth it. So there you go. There's your lesson for today.
Yes, yes. Well, last week we were talking about wondering if you were going to be visiting Qatar for the World Cup this year. And I found another story this week that more than 15,000 cameras will monitor soccer fans across 8 stadiums and on the streets of Doha during the World Cup. So even if you didn't install those apps on your phone, they're going to have 15,000 cameras doing facial recognition and who knows what else.
Well, the last time I checked, Qatar is not a communist country, is it? What is going on there?
I do not understand the politics of Qatar, but I did hear some brief discussion when I was halfway listening to a podcast that Qatar is not one of the best countries on earth. So
there's a lot of human rights type stuff
Yes.
that's probably being violated. So it's probably just par for the course for them.
Yes. But this is becoming more common in stadiums all over where they've had cameras for a long time, but more and more of the technology so that they can try to track people and make sure they're not doing things they shouldn't.
Yeah, and with that many cameras, you cannot man them effectively. So I'm sure with the advent of AI, they're able to apply some algorithm that's looking for behavior, or if they have facial recognition stuff for the bad guys walking around, they'll be able to identify them and pinpoint where they're located.
Yes. Well, you know what I would like to pinpoint? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but I will let it go by.
Yes.
Just like a stream of water. Not to talk about weather, but there's quite a bit of water falling right now in the Pacific Northwest. So it was a few weeks ago, we were talking about Apple Maps and the add a stop and all the stuff, and I got confused and I didn't know how to do this stuff, and so we talked about it, but I have taken some time to figure out how to use this tool, and I think it actually works pretty well. But typically like Apple does it, it's supposed to be simple and intuitive, but the intuitive part they kind of forget about sometimes. And maybe it's because I've used other mapping services where it's just very obvious what you're supposed to do. I thought I'd take a few minutes to walk through how you do a multi-stop destination using Apple Maps. And so obviously we're going to need to start up Maps. So follow along with me, especially if you're driving. This can be super helpful. Make sure you're able to read the screen. I kid, of course. But let's say, for example, I am at home, which I am, and I wanted to navigate to one of my favorite destinations, Red Robin. And so I type in Red Robin, and it'll come up with a search. I actually have one 800 feet from my house, but I want to drive, and so I'm going to choose one that's closer to your house. So I click on that, and it comes up. Now, what I have to do is navigate to that position. And so when I click the 11-minute drive to that, as I choose my route, there is a new section right under directions. Mine says my location, Red Robin, and then there's an option to add a stop. And so I'm going to add another stop. After Red Robin, I'm going to go to Costco because I love Costco. I think I will go to the one in Wilsonville, which is just down the road a piece. So that's now on my agenda. But wait, my wife says, hey, before you go to Red Robin with Nate, can you stop by Costco first? Because there's some pantyhose that are going to sell out if you don't get to them right away. So what you do then is in the list of items, there's the 3 little hamburger handles to the right-hand side. I can click and hold and move Costco above Red Robin, and it reroutes from my house to Costco and now to Red Robin. So it's quite simple to completely add a bunch of stops, rearrange them as necessary. And I used it this past week when I was on my day off adventure. I went to, I I navigated to a bottle drop location at Safeway, which it was not what I was looking for. I have like bags that I need to drop off, and they have like the little machines where you put them one at a time. No, thank you. I navigated to there, promptly went to my second location, which was Chick-fil-A to eat lunch. And I went to Chick-fil-A to eat lunch. Then I stopped by the bins, Goodwill bins, to do shopping for the rest of the afternoon. It was quite an adventure.
Nice.
So I used this tool. I did my search for Chick-fil-A, and I got the one that was closest to the bins because there's several in that area. I really like this tool. Once you understand how it works, once you understand that you can add the locations, route them as necessary, kind of do individual searches for each destination, it seemed to make a lot of sense. Now, I will also say that when you are traveling on a route, you can still add a location or a destination, but you should be careful because it's going to take some MacGyvering of trying to drive and punch in this stuff. So have a passenger do it would be the safest way to do it. At the bottom of the screen when you're navigating is a little chevron or up arrow type button. And if you tap that, there's an option that says add stop, share ETA, report an incident, or etc. But if you add a stop, they've got a couple of quick search items there. So dinner, gas station, coffee shops, etc. Or you can just search. And I'm going to say, well, I want to go to Goodwill on my way back home. So there's a search. It offers me a map. I'm going to choose the one that's the closest, add that as a destination, and now it's rerouted everything. And I can even go in and adjust or delete the stops if I want to. So it won't really allow you to adjust the order, but you can delete stops if you decide, you know what, I don't have time for Red Robin after all. You can eliminate that. I find it very useful. Nate, have you had an opportunity to use multi-stop navigation with Apple Maps since iOS 16 came out?
Yes, I was just playing around as you were talking with the pre-planning, but I have done the add a stop, and I believe it was for a gas station. I was going somewhere, and it's like, I need to find a gas station, and it is really nice to be able to do this multi-stop stuff and kind of get an idea on the map. Oh, wait, maybe I should go there first or go there next. So,
and I know Google Maps and others have had this feature forever, but it's nice to have it in the built-in application now. And I will also say that as you're planning your destination, you don't have to leave right now. You can say, I want to leave an hour and a half from now, and it will show you the estimated arrival times based on data that it has about other drivers and other times. And so if you're saying, I want to go to the movies 30 minutes from now, you can put that destination in and say, I want to leave in 30 minutes. And it'll tell you, oh, it's 15 minutes trip. But if you do it like right now, it's a 25-minute trip because there might be a rush hour or something like that. So I love it when new features are added to apps that I love to use.
Yes. Thank you for that. And a little quick piece of follow-up on the my tip that I took over last week. I don't know that Chelsea and I are going to continue using the iCloud shared library.
Okay.
It's really confusing. We were talking about it last night, and it's like, she's like, so if I add those photos to the shared library, they go out of my library? And I go, yes, but they're still in your library because the shared library is part of you. It's just kind of, we were discussing who would possibly want to use that feature. So I think we will be going back to the iCloud shared albums that we've been doing. And we've been doing those for, I don't know, 10 years now, so it's like we're really used to that system. So
it's so weird that they chose to do it that way. It is not intuitive. Remember that intuitive part that they just kind of forget about? I don't know why they do that.
No, it's they could have done it well by not integrating it so heavily with your normal library. If it was just its own special thing where you kind of, it was highlighted and you need to go there when photos have been shared, but like there's no notification. So I shared a bunch of pictures from Halloween and it's like, they're in there.
Yeah. I mean, here's how I would have done it. I know nobody cares. I would have kept everybody's library separate and just put a tiny little flag on the corner that this is part of the family shared library, a little blue triangle on the corner, just small. And then it's like, oh, I didn't want to share that photo. Unshare. And I mean, come on. It's easy.
So, yeah, if anybody out there does use it and finds that they like it, I would love to hear from you. But let us move on to their takes of the week. So I was very excited at first when I saw the headline you shared that Amazon Music's entire library is now free for Prime subscribers.
Well, with a catch.
Yes. Just one small catch, that it's basically Pandora. You can only have it in shuffle mode. You can't fast forward or rewind songs. So it's like this should not have been a headline. And
Amazon, you invented Pandora. Congratulations.
Yeah. So they went from their, whatever it was, 10 million songs that were included free to now you can have the 100 million songs in their library, but it is severely restricted.
Well, and it's a problem for some people. So if you just use the free Prime library with its very restricted songs and you're like, oh, I like this album, and you could say, so-and-so, play this song by this artist, and it would play it. Now, you say that, you have more options, but it's just going to play a playlist or an album or something. You have no control. And so they've actually taken control away from free users by giving them this new features. And so there were a lot of people complaining about it. And I will say the most people I saw complaining about it were like, I have my kids listen to this playlist every night and now it won't play it. And I'm like, so you're just using it for free? And you're complaining about that it's, So I understand both arguments, but I'm like, don't be so entitled. At the other end of the spectrum, I'm like, why do you have to make such a big change for everybody?
Yes.
Why can't you just leave it alone?
Leave it alone. Well, I saw this article, and about, let's see, it was about 10, 11 years ago, I was a intensive Call of Duty player. I played more Call of Duty than, well, I'll admit it, but I shouldn't like to admit it. I was in between jobs and had a lot of time on my hands and a brand new Xbox 360, and I would play the multiplayer, but Call of Duty is still a thing all these years later, and the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 breaks franchise record with 800 million with an M, dollars sold in 3 days.
Now, you're going to have to help me because I'm a little bit out of the loop on the Modern Warfare franchise. But isn't there already a Modern Warfare 2? Did they reboot this? Because I have, I think on my back wall, Modern Warfare 3.
I know. I was wondering about that. And on the Wikipedia, so it says there's all these different things. There was Call of Duty 2, 3, World War II, Vanguard.
Yeah, I have Vanguard.
Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare Remastered, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, Modern Warfare 3, and then again Modern Warfare, and then Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, which is apparently different than Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. And then there's like 8 more of them on the story arc and the standalone games. So you are not incorrect that there was a Modern Warfare number 2 and 3, and then they went back to Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2.
It's like Battlefield. There's Battlefield 1, and then there's Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 for like the original Xbox, but they redid those for the 360 and Xbox One. And so when you say, I want Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's like the Xbox version or the new Xbox version? Oh, it's so confusing.
Yes.
You know what they could do? I mean, this probably cost them a lot of money, is name it something else.
Huh. And I think actually, because I thought it sounded familiar, I'm looking at the years, and Modern Warfare #2 came out in 2009, and Black Ops with 2010.
Right.
So I think those are the two versions that I spent my time playing. But one of the interesting things that I saw in this article, because just trying to put it into perspective, the blockbuster opening tops any of the biggest worldwide box office openings of 2022, surpassing Top Gun Maverick and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness worldwide box office openings combined.
Just like people cannot judge distance very well, we're also completely unaware of how much larger video game industry is over Hollywood. And I tell people all this time, they're like, oh, wow, Top Gun Maverick's been out for like 3 months and it's still making $1.2 million every weekend. And I'm like, that's nice, but Modern Warfare cost about $1.5 billion to create and sold 800 million copies on the first day or whatever. It's like, it's so much bigger, much bigger.
Yeah, no, it is pretty crazy. And the video games, the platform video games are definitely still a thing.
Yeah.
Gmail is getting a new feature this
I want to hear about this.
fall. They're adding a new package tracking feature.
Oh, yes.
Ahead of holiday shopping season.
I put this in the notes.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued and impressed by the features that Google and Gmail come out with. They, back in the early 2000s, they came out with Gmail, whenever it was.
Yeah.
They revolutionized the way email is done. And of course, they, like Microsoft wants to do with all their products, they add features that nobody else supports, and it kind of breaks stuff and everybody has to catch up. Unlike the internet with Internet Explorer, email was just broken. It needed somebody to come in and fix it. So when Gmail came out, it was great. They started doing all these detectors, and they use the AI that can say, hey, it looks like you're sending an attachment and you didn't do the attachment, or here's a quick response. They just keep innovating and iterating on Gmail and making it better and better. And this is going to be very useful to me and probably most everybody else in America, because we order stuff online all the time. And so if I can just quickly see in the little subject line or the footer of my preview that it's going to arrive or it's been shipped or whatever, without having to click in the email and potentially click a link and go to ups.com. And I know there are third-party apps that kind of make this easier, but having it right in there from the person who's sending it in your email is going to be way more convenient.
Yes, that will be nice with as many packages that are always traveling. So
yeah, and their example, it's just a list of emails, and it has a little green thing. Your package is arriving in August 21st or whatever. It's like, that's going to be so great.
Yes, and that will be nice. And they're automating that, and something else that's going fully automated, Meta to ditch human-curated Facebook news stories globally. Now, I don't know that I have ever gone to the news tab in Facebook, much like the Apple News, where they'll send me notifications every once in a while and stuff. It's like, this is not where I want to get my news from, but they had teams, they were contracted with somebody to put together these top stories, and they're going to a more automated feature. So I have no opinions on this.
Well, I get my news from my Aunt Betty from Kansas. She just posts articles and stuff she finds online. She'll be like, oh, I've heard this rumor about a new medical procedure or drug, and I'm just going to find some obscure article and post it. So that's where I get all my news from. Yeah. So I don't know. She's the only curation that I need.
Yeah, there you go. You're set.
But all joking aside, I think, as with every time this is tried, the algorithm is going to fail, and there's just going to be hilarity is going to ensue.
Yes.
It's going to turn racist. It always does. The robots always turn racist. They're going to be anti-Semitic. They're going to post inappropriate stories. They're going to just all over the place. I bet it's going to happen because the articles don't know. They generate what people click on and talk about and post. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yes, just the moral of this story is don't visit the news tab in Facebook. Or if it was up to Dave, don't visit Facebook.
Thank you. I was going to amend your comment.
Yes. Well, a little security and privacy story to remind you, as we often do, to keep your devices updated. From Bleeping Computer, U.S. government employees exposed to mobile attacks from outdated Android iOS.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? Keep your devices updated.
Yeah, it says, according to a new report, almost half of Android-based mobile phones used by U.S. state and local government employees are running outdated versions of the operating system, exposing them to hundreds of vulnerabilities that can be leveraged for attacks. So yeah, the government, you'd think they would have some pretty stringent requirements on what they should, or that they should keep their devices updated, but it is also the government, so they're probably working on a new document to let people know to update. Well, on to our bonus odd take of the week. We often had items from hotkey.org, and we haven't had many lately because I don't think I mentioned it. He mentioned it. I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast. He actually went on a sabbatical, but he is back. So I saw this one, and it is Unlikely Simultaneous Historical Events, which he has pulled some highlights from a Threadit.
A Threadit? What is that?
A Reddit thread.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I just invented something. Threadit. But yeah, a poster on Reddit asked what to event. So, for example, when pilgrims were landing on Plymouth Rock, you could already visit what is now Santa Fe, New Mexico, to stay at a hotel, eat at a restaurant, and buy Native American silver. Some of these are a little bit of a downer, but it does give you perspective. Prisoners begin to arrive at Auschwitz a few days after McDonald's was founded. The first wagon train of the Oregon Trail heads out the same year the fax machine was invented.
Wow.
And one for you, Nintendo was founded in 1888. Jack the Ripper was on the loose in 1888.
Yeah, I knew Nintendo was that old. They used to make games, playing cards, those type of things. And then they got into electronics sometime later.
Yes. Spain was still a fascist dictatorship when Microsoft was founded. But yeah, it just goes on. And one more I'll give you. When the pyramids were being built, there were still woolly mammoths.
Yes, I was aware of that. That's crazy.
And
it's not that woolly mammoths lived closer than you think. It's that the pyramids were built much farther back than you think.
Yes.
And there were some other things like, I don't know who it was. It was like Cleopatra or some person of antiquity. The pyramids were farther away from her than she was to us in time or something like that.
Yeah, and that's on the Mark and Toddcast, they've done that a couple times where it's looking at the distance of time, like you're saying on that example, and those are fascinating, but I thought these were fascinating. So you can click the link in the show notes, and since some of those are downer and we've been missing Kotkey, I have a bonus odd take with a short video where this shovel falling sounds exactly like Smells Like Teen Spirit. But yes, somebody found a shovel falling on ice that sounds like the kind of intro to Smells Like Teen Spirit, which is why I love the internet. And then there's a link in that article that I will tease you with. You'll have to click through to find it. The door that sounds like Miles Davis. So
I definitely want to hear that one.
Yes, indeed. And you know what I want to hear are picks of the week.
So I talked about this, I don't know, when I did it. It is the 23andMe DNA testing. And I talked about, I think, the different ethnicities that are in my DNA that I had no idea, which is very fun to discover. I wanted to point this out again because we're contemplating getting it for my kids because they're interested in it. I think it'd be more valuable to get it for my wife because my kids share half my DNA. And if we got hers, then I suppose we'd have to do our own genetics to figure out the difference between them. But regardless, the reason I'm mentioning it now is that it's 50% off, which it was when I bought it as well. So right now on Amazon.com, you can get the 23andMe Health Plus Ancestry service. Personal genetic DNA test includes health predispositions, carrier status, wellness, and trait reports. Before you buy, see important test info below. Parenthesis. I don't know why they said that. But $99. You may think, well, that's a lot of money to spend. And I would agree, it's a lot of money. But there's also a lot of value in knowing that, you don't have the genetic markers that lead to Alzheimer's or Dutch hand disease. If only Todd Werkhoven would have known this early in his life, he could have done something to prevent his Dutch hand disease. And now it's just a big claw.
Big wooden claw
just
with two lips on it.
Yes, I'm teasing. But anyway, there's some useful information in there. So if you are interested at all, buying this for yourself, or guess what's coming up in North America? Well, it's coming up for the entire world, but the Western world celebrates Christmas, and this would be a great Christmas present. Now, Nate, I just want to lay this out there. Where do you fall on DNA testing? Is it a good thing or is it a product of the devil? I gotta know.
I think it is a good thing as somebody who values my privacy very little and very curious about data. And I know there's a bunch of different tests. There was one that Chelsea was looking at that was a little more health focused and
Ancestry.com has one that's different.
And I think there's colors or something else. There's a couple different ones, but I think I am going to do it. I'm curious. I know my brother did it, and we were talking about that, so it should be pretty similar to his. But I think I need to do it. Thank you for the reminding us.
Yeah, well, if you just want to save half off, because I don't know that I'd do it if I had to pay $200.
Yeah.
But for $100, it seems within reason. I wish it were like $70, but $99, and you do get a lot, and you can pay a $30 additional fee to get an expansion with more tests and more data if you want to. I chose not to because the stuff that I got was exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And if you order it today, it'll arrive tomorrow within 2 hours, and I have to order it within 2 hours and 9 minutes. I can get it tomorrow. So if I wanted to do a second one, I sure could.
Very nice. What are the Amazon reviews on that product, out of curiosity?
Well, there are 32,543 ratings, and it's 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000+ answered questions. Like, I'm going to look at one. Oh, yes. Linda from Michigan says, will I turn into a potato if I take this test? No, I'm making that up.
Yes.
I'm making it up.
Yes. Well, my pick of the week is also an Amazon thing. And Dave, every once in a while, I like to make you guess what a product is. And so since I'm using my high quality Canon M50 for my webcam.
Well, I can tell you, because I am an expert in digital connectors, that is an HDMI male plug that you are sticking up to the camera.
Yes. Now, what is the overall?
Well, it's about 1.5 inches, or for those of you that are not from the country that I live in, about 3 centimeters, 2 centimeters. There's nothing on the other side. So my guess is that this is a wireless HDMI transmitter of some sort.
Well, you would be wrong.
Son of a...
This is a DTECH 4K HDMI dummy plug display emulator headless ghost adapter compatible with Windows, Mac OS 10, Linux support, 4K x 2K 2160p 1080p for computer desktop, fit-Headless 5-pack. This is just one of them.
So it's a headless dongle so that your computer thinks that a monitor is plugged in.
Yes. So this is a pretty nerdy pick. With my company, some of my clients, I've got a computer out there, a server type computer where don't need to have a monitor connected in, but if I try to use my remote software to go into it, the resolution's all wonky. So this just plugs into an HDMI port on the computer and fakes the computer into thinking that it has a monitor. Now, we worked for a company many moons ago, like way back in the early 2000s. They had adapters for, old Macs and stuff to do this sort of thing. But I saw this in one of my lovely Facebook IT groups, and I was like, you know what? I actually have a use for this. So I went on Amazon and I bought the 5-pack. Dave, what would you pay?
A 5-pack of those headless dongle things. I'm going to say, man, I'm going to be low.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you, 832 ratings, 4.5 stars on Amazon.
832. I think this is going to be low, but I'm going to say $12.95.
Pretty close, $15.98 for the 5-pack. So $3 and change, $3.20 a piece to save me a lot of headache.
Now, I will say I use Jump Desktop, which I've praised before. Yes. And there's one called Screens for Mac that is very common and people use it. And I got to be honest with you, the Jump Desktop just has always worked really well for me.
Yes.
Cross-platform.
Yeah.
So this whole headless thing, it feels like to me when I install Jump Desktop Connect on the computer, it takes care of all that stuff. Because when I connect back, I can say emulate the monitor size that I'm looking at right now, or I can say don't, and it just goes to the default monitor size.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I've got some that I connect into and it goes to like 800 by 600, like really crazy,
But you could go change that, can't you, in the settings?
I have not been able to find a way. There is some software you can try to install, but I figured for $3 a piece to have a solution that works right.
Hardware is always a better solution than trying to finagle this digital stuff.
Yeah, so it does depend what you're connecting to for all of our IT listeners or headless server listeners,
sure
all of you out there with your headless servers at home.
All of you one out there, which is me, actually. So thank you.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Yes. Well, with that, we will wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Share it with a friend. Share it with a foe. I hope you voted so we can all get out there and tech better. But I've got this, the big boy.
Oh boy, yeah. Ooh. Feels like that's a scam.
Yes, that's me.
You're a scammer. Okay, now do it.
Restart that. I have no DNA.
In America.
America.